Hi, welcome back to another podcast with Mr. Hagan. And on this podcast, we continue with the aggregate expenditure model. And so on this one, this is one of the more confusing real-world event determinants of all of the aggregate expenditure model determinants. So let's take some time and look at this. My real-world event here. Okay, this is going to be the United States again. So we got to be really explicit about this. As United States gross domestic product, as United States aggregate expenditures, consumption, investment, government spending, and net exports for the United States. And then my real world event is going to be a collapse in the U.S. dollar in world markets. So we're going to get a collapse in the U.S. dollar in world markets. Okay, so what does that mean? That language just means that the price of a dollar, the price of dollars, and that gets a little confusing when you start talking about, the price of currencies, the price of dollars. I mean, aren't prices measured in dollars? So it gets a little confusing, but think about it this way. The number of euros that it takes to buy a dollar will go down. Okay, that's what I mean when I say the price of a dollar. The amount of a foreign currency needed to buy dollars will be less than it was before. So the price of a dollar in terms of foreign currencies goes down. It doesn't take as many, say, euros to buy a dollar than it used to. So if you get a collapse in the U.S. dollar, that means the price of dollars is decreasing. So a decrease in the price of dollars. Now that means that dollars are cheaper. And if dollars are cheaper, they work like any other good. People will be able to buy more dollars than they could before. So people will increase the number of dollars that they buy. So people will buy more dollars. People can buy more dollars because they're cheaper, because the price is lower. Now, if they buy more dollars, then that means that they can more easily buy more American goods. They can buy more American goods. They can buy more American goods and goods and services, I should say. And so that means that we will get, for the United States, that would be called an increase in exports. So our exports will go up as the dollar becomes cheaper. See, this word collapse means the dollar becomes cheaper. And if the dollar becomes cheaper, people can buy more dollars, and therefore they'll buy more of our goods, and therefore American exports will rise. Now, if exports go up, remember this, net exports for the United States, net exports are equal to exports minus imports. So if exports go up, then that means net exports will rise. And if net exports go up, that means that the aggregate expenditure curve will rise. So I'm not saying it would be normative. It would be opinion to say whether it's good for the U.S. to rise or decline in currency markets. Is that good or bad? That would be normative. We just say, but one of the positive offsetting results is if you get a decrease in the value of a dollar in world markets, then that's going to cause more people to buy our goods, and that's going to cause our aggregate expenditure curve to shift up. This, by the way, the word that we use here is we would say that the dollar has depreciated. Depreciate just means that the price of it went down. That's depreciate means that the price went down. And so, what would happen here is we would say my determinant is a change in net exports, and the specific determinant would be exchange rates. And we'd have to be even more specific. We got to say that the exchange rate depreciated. It depreciated. So the dollar depreciated. That means the price of it went down. If the price of it goes down, then our goods become cheaper. That means our exports will go up. People will buy more of our goods. That means net exports will rise. That means the curve will shift up. That means spending will be greater than production. Inventories will fall, and companies in the United States will begin to increase production. And so there's the increase in production. And so the aggregate expenditure curve would shift up, and the gross domestic product would increase. Okay, that's kind of the confusing one. And let's just think about this in the other way. The other way would be this. This would all go in reverse if the U.S. dollar increased in world markets. Okay? And that would be, then the word would be appreciate. If the dollar appreciated in world markets, that would mean that there was an increase in the price of a dollar. That would mean that there was an increase in the price of a dollar. And if there was an increase in the price of a dollar, then people would, instead of buying more dollars, they would buy fewer dollars. I really should say fewer. Let me back that up. They buy less dollars. You would say fewer dollars because you can count dollars. So use the word fewer. They would appreciate. If the dollar appreciates, it would be an increase in the price of a dollar. People would buy fewer dollars as a result. Therefore, here they would buy fewer American goods. And that means that our exports would actually go down. We would get a decrease in exports. And if exports went down, then you come back up here, decrease exports, decrease net exports, then the curve would shift down instead of shifting up, and everything would go in reverse. Then the curve would shift down, and if the curve shifted down, gross domestic product would fall, and there you would go. Okay? Now, that all gets confusing. You got to be able to work this both ways, whether the dollar depreciates or appreciates. Here's the rule to help you. The rule says that if your currency appreciates, then the curve will shift down because your currency and therefore your goods and services will become more expensive to the rest of the world. Exports will decline. If your currency depreciates, I'm just going to back up and switch my color just to kind of be consistent here, because this is the example that we actually did. If your currency depreciates, that's this over here, if your currency depreciates, then the curve's going to shift down because your currency and your goods and services will become more expensive to the rest of the world. Your exports, did I just say that? I think I just said that backwards. If your currency depreciates, then your currency and your goods and services will become less expensive to the rest of the world. The price of your currency will go down, so your currency and your goods and services will become less expensive to the rest of the world. So people will buy more of it, your exports will rise, and your curve will shift up, So I would recommend as you watch this video to write all of this out. For yourself in your notes, so that you can follow the reasoning very clearly. That would be my recommendation. All right, this has been Mr. Hagan on another podcast. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you on the next podcast.